A very, very good morning and a wonderful day ahead. Welcome back to my podcast. This is George Nathaniel for you. As I always do, I come back with very simple topics that relates to each one of you. Topics that help us with our lives, topics that help us with progress, and most importantly, topics that help us to contribute towards betterment all across life. Well, what is my topic for today? My topic for today is going right. Well, all of us want to go right. I'm sure that is a priority in all our lives. But before I get to the topic, like I always do, let me share something very, very funny that has been told to me by my dad. The most funny and meaningful thing I've ever heard from my dad till date. Well, he said, not all things on the right will be right. One needs to take the left across right to find the path on going right. Well, I was totally confused by that. And till the time I found maturity, I actually understood. And that made me humble. And referring back to the meaning, one definitely needs to be left across right to start finding the path on the right way. Well, before I get to my topic, before I get to my takeaways, let us relate to our personal lives, our professional lives. Let us relate to our betterment. Let us understand what my dad said actually. It had a huge, huge meaning. He said, not all things on the right will be going right. And one needs to be left out all across to start finding the path on going right. Well, this has a huge, huge meaning in all our lives. And looking at the five key takeaways that can actually make our lives even better. Five key takeaways that can help us to further progress in life. Well, what are the key takeaways that we can talk about today? Well, to make it very, very simple, because my key takeaways are always very general, very generic, because like I say, each one of us are totally different. Our goals are different, circumstances are different, situations are different, and each one of us are unique and different in our own ways. So these are the five key takeaways that I would recommend over my experience. Well, I would say what we need to understand is right is not doing things or just being judged by finding the value in things. Right is about finding the value in the moment. Right is about knowing what is relevant. So I think it's something we need to understand. Number two, I would say right is an element owned by you. We just need to take measures prior to doing something, or doing that particular thing. Well, next is that I would say right is actually not always being logical or doing the right deeds. It's about being the most relevant and the most, I would say, something that needs to be done on that particular aspect of that particular thing. So being particular, being specific is actually more relevant than anything else. Right is not just a tick out over our efforts. Right actually takes us a little moments prior to our efforts. What we need to also understand is right has no age. It has no age group. It has no success ratio. It has nothing to do with who or what any person is. It's just about doing what is relevant. Well, most important thing about being right is we need to be humble. We need to be just. We need to be sincere. We need to be simple. So when I keep saying relevant is something that is simple. Relevant is something that needs to be done. Relevant is something that has to be done. And relevant is something that relates to that particular thing. So going right is as simple as being relevant. So, folks, as we relate to our personal lives, as we relate to our personal goals, as we relate to our professional lives, as we relate to our professional goals, as we relate to our contribution towards lives, as we relate to our contribution towards wellness, let us understand how right are we going? Are we just going right, or what are we exactly doing? And how difficult it is to go right? Well, like I said, right, going right is as simple as being relevant. So if we are relevant, we'll definitely go right, and of course we'll have time to do much more things and continue to go right. My subject today is a little complicated because maybe I've not said it the way I would really say it, but it's about each one of us finding our own path in going right. It's about each one of us finding our own relevance in going right. It's about each one of us understanding our values in going right. So, folks, as I as I leave you with the podcast on going right, I leave you with the lines that my father said. One definitely needs to be left out to find the right path to start going right. So I'm sure if we feel left out in anything in our personal, professional, or contribution in life, we still have time to start finding the right path and going right in our contribution, going right in our efforts, going right in making a difference in life. I keep talking about positive things, I keep talking about contribution, and keep talking about wellness. Well, these are simple things that we can all contribute in our own ways all across life. It's not just about making our life different, but it's also about helping to making the lives of others different. And it's most importantly, it's about making a contribution to lives all across. I hope you like listening to my podcast, which is available on all platforms. I also have my blog website, which is georgenathaniel.net. Come and listen to my podcast, read my blogs, and of course, I'll be more than happy to come back and fulfill your request. I hope you like listening to me. This is George Nathaniel. Thank you so much and have a wonderful time ahead.